Hello there, a good evening to you all, and thank you for joining us here on Rwanda Television News. Our hope is that you had yourselves a productive Tuesday. Now here's a sneak peek of our edition. The Ministry of Justice has revealed that from 2013 up to 2025, it has recovered more than 15.4 billion Rwandan francs of public funds that have been embezzled and misused for personal gain. Communities living around volcanoes national parks say they have greatly benefited from tourism activities and have also come to better understand their role in conserving the park's rich biodiversity. On the international scale, a massive recovery effort continues after a landslide buried an entire village in Sudan's western region of Darfur on Sunday. We are glad to have your company tonight, coming to you straight from the heart of Africa, Kigali, and I bring you tonight's edition is Martina Abera. Now, the Ministry of Justice has revealed that from 2013 up to 2025, it has recovered more than 15.4 billion Rwandan francs of public funds that had been embezzled and misused for personal gain. However, it is still pursuing the recovery of another 16 billion francs owned to the state by individuals who lost court cases but have not yet paid. The problem of mismanagement and embezzlement of government funds allocated annually to development projects is usually exposed after the Office of the Auditor General of State Finances publishes reports on ministries and affiliated institutions that receive budget allocations. These reports often raise concerns from members of parliament who warn that such financial losses undermine the country's development agenda. The chairperson of the Parliamentary Public Accounts Committee, Honorable Mohakwa Valence, emphasizes that some errors highlighted in these reports amount to crimes leading to certain leaders being prosecuted and held accountable for causing losses to the state. In the 2024-2025 judicial year, the prosecution service handled several case files that revealed the seriousness of crimes undermining the national economy, according to the Prosecutor General Habyarimana Angelique. Marie Immaculée Ingabire, chairperson of Transparency International, believes that those who embezzle public funds should not be tolerated. Even so, figures from the Ministry of Justice show the strong efforts the state continues to put into tracking down those who squander public resources, something that citizens appreciate. Specios Kabibi, an officer in charge of state litigation at the Ministry of Justice, explained that one major challenge is that people who lose cases often have their property registered under other people's names, making it difficult for the state to seize assets. Others have already mortgaged their property to banks or used it as collateral. Nevertheless, she stressed that those who embezzle public funds will not escape justice. According to Ministry of Justice statistics, between 2016 and 2023, crimes of public funds embezzlement caused losses of 7.4 billion Rwandan francs. Procurement-related offenses of a cost of state 1.8 billion francs, while corruption-related crimes caused losses of 186 million francs. In total, the combined financial loss from these three categories of crimes amounted to 10.4 billion francs. Out of this, about 2.2 billion francs has already been recovered. Meanwhile, from 2013 to 2025, the government has managed to recover a total of 15.4 billion francs. The period between 2013 and 2024 and 2021 to 2022 saw the highest recovery, with 3.3 billion Rwandan francs reclaimed in a single year. However, there remains an outstanding amount of 16.6 billion francs still classified as debts owed by those who lost cases against the state. It has also been determined that 8.4 billion Rwandan francs will not be recovered. On the second day of the Africa Food Systems Forum being held in Dakar, Senegal, Rwanda was recognized as a model country thanks to its school feeding program. Minister of Agriculture and Animal Resources Dr. Mark Bagabe Chubahiro stated that this success stems from strong political will and leadership that prioritizes citizens.
In brief, what I shared was, we were grateful that, first of all, we were given the platform to this forum to communicate our government's political will to ensure that we get rid of malnutrition in our country. So what we showed is the impact that the government taking the lead since 2021, the government taking a lead in school feeding, putting in the budget, which has actually increased now to over 134 billion Rwandan francs every year that goes school feeding. So we believe that's going to create a positive impact. Our challenge is big. We have got malnutrition, which is around now 29%. So reducing it to 15%, under 15% by 2029, it's an uphill task. But we believe with a multi-pronged approach, interventions like 1 egg per child, 1 cup of milk per child, this biofortified foods. Now we are going to start in September, fully whole grain maize that's biofortified with the premixes of vitamins. That's definitely going to create a difference. Then also what we said is that it's not only fighting malnutrition, but it's got other benefits to companies that are buying food, to farmers that are growing food. At the same time, we have seen that the school enrollment has proportionately gone up over the years, now over 92% because of school feeding. At the same time, of course, that means that school dropout has decreased. It's now under 6.4%. So those are the benefits of this program, and we believe that having a multi-pronged approach with our partners, different partners, and of course the government taking lead, we're going to create a big impact on this problem, and we hope to be able to achieve under 15%, which is our target for 2029.
Now, communities living around Volcanoes National Park say they have greatly benefited from tourism activities and have also come to better understand their role in conserving the park's rich biodiversity. Adam Squizera has more on this report.
It has been 20 years since the Kwiti's inaugural naming ceremony, a conservation ceremony primarily aimed at protecting mountain gorillas. Residents neighboring the park testify that now they fully understand their responsibility in protecting the environment, which in the past had been severely threatened by poachers. And no longer hear about poachers, unlike in the past. They were common. Thanks to continuous mobilization, many of them are now actively involved in conservation efforts. Volcanoes National Park remains Rwanda's top tourist attractions. According to the figures from the Rwanda Development Board (RDB), in 2024, visits to Rwanda's national parks increased by 10.7%, while tourism revenue rose by 8.5%. Furthermore, 27% of this income was generated through gorilla-based tourism. Since 2005, residents from 12 sectors surrounding Volcanoes National Park have benefited from various community development projects. They taught us how to practice agriculture on a small piece of land and still achieve good production. We are also excited to receive the model village they built for us, thanks to the good governance that continues to guide us on the path of development. The Chief Executive Officer of Rwanda Development Board, Shangi Africa, stated that over the past 20 years, efforts have made to help communities appreciate their role in conservation. He further highlighted the revenue sharing program, through which part of the park's tourism income is invested in local development projects, reinforcing conservation efforts.
The big message that is being passed today is the link between tourism, conservation, and what is happening here today. For the last 20 years, 10% of our tourism revenues have been allocated to the development of the districts. They have financed different activities ranging from agriculture, fish farming, education, health, across the country's districts. And this is just one example of the ways in which we utilize tourism revenues to benefit the development of local communities.
In 2024, Rwanda's tourism sector generated more than $647 million, with projection aiming for even higher revenues in the coming years. This comes just as preparations are underway in Kinigi, Musanze for the 20th edition of Kwitizina, the country's annual gorilla naming ceremony. On 5th September 2025, 40 baby mountain gorillas will be named during the event, which is expected to bring together over 10,000 conservationists, dignitaries, and international guests to the foothills of Volcanoes National Park.
Thank you, Adam Skizera, for that report. Not moving far from the tourism industry, over the past 20 years, the hotel sector in Musanze district has grown from 4 hotels to 47, including 5-star establishments, with the number of rooms increasing more than 20-fold. Investors say this was a wise decision since, as a tourism hub, the district offers many opportunities for profitability. With the opening of Grota Resort in Musanze, this will be the first time that the Kwitizina gorilla naming ceremony will take place while the resort is operating. The resort is a large facility sitting on 6.5 hectares, offering a variety of services including leisure, sports, culture, and other activities for guests. Hotel investments in the district have also expanded with projects like the Buhanga Eco Lodge, which opened 5 months ago. Built in harmony with its natural environment, it targets high-end tourists and even includes provisions for 2 helicopters to land simultaneously. Hotel owners say they are prepared to provide quality services to visitors attending the 20th Kwitizina ceremony. 20 years ago, Musanze had fewer than 60 hotel rooms. Today, that number has reached 1,091. Samuel Musabyimana, the district's investment officer, has noted that this capacity has allowed more tourists to stay longer in Musanze. The hotel industry plays a key role in the local economy, currently employing 1,036 people. The Northern Province's Governor Maurice Mugoba Gahunde has emphasized that efforts are now being made to encourage hotel development in other tourist areas as well. The latest figures indicate that 41% of tourists visiting Rwanda go to the Volcanoes National Park in Musanze. Most of the hotels hosting the tourists are located in Muhoza and Kinigi sectors. The National Bank of Rwanda indicates that the use of digital platforms to transfer and make payments continues to increase, significantly accelerating financial services among the population. The amount of money transferred digitally between individuals and businesses in the country increased to 37.7 billion Rwandan francs in the second quarter of 2025, up from 9.4 billion Rwandan francs during the same period in 2024. Various business operators in the country say many customers no longer rely on cash but prefer to pay using digital means. On the other hand, mobile money agents say the fees set for money transfers should be reviewed because customers often complain about them. Economic analysts say the cost incurred between consumers, businesses, and other exchanging money digitally should be reduced in order to further accelerate the country's economy. Officials at BNR have explained that changes are being made in the digital money transfer system, giving hope that these challenges will be addressed. Digital payments continue to gain public trust as BNR shows that from March to June 2025, there were 9.17 million digital transactions compared to 2.50 million in the same period in 2024. Moving ahead, Sudanese living in Rwanda highlight that Rwanda is a model country that warmly welcomes those who come to it, including refugees, and helps them integrate into Rwandan society. These Sudanese fled to Rwanda and continued their studies there after war broke out in their country in April 2023 between government forces and the RSF group. And our Gladys has more.
Many of the Sudanese who fled to Rwanda in 2023 are young people who were still studying, some of whom continued their education here, particularly at the University of Medical Science and Technology, which relocated from Sudan to Rwanda. Some of those who live in Bwinyanja village, Rwimbogosel, Nyarugunga sector, Kicukiro district, say that Rwandans treat them well. Beyond education, some of the Sudanese are also engaged in other activities, including business. They affirm that Rwanda has given them every opportunity to rebuild their lives after fleeing insecurity in their homeland.
I've been in Rwanda for 1.5 years now. Rwanda was like a blessings for us as people who started a war. There's a war starting in our country. So actually, it's our first time to know that in African countries there is such a development like Rwanda. The process of starting a business was very easy, and they give us the opportunity in a long time to really get to know the country and how really they are very welcoming for any foreigners. I'm so happy to have this amazing staff. They are very nice people. They really appreciate the work and they really respect it.
Actually, I'm here since 2023, July. It's refreshing because it's new activities, new everything. It's good experience, yeah.
I think, working with Rwanda is actually great. They know, like, they can actually help you with the business and stuff like that. They can bring people, like they can do some events here. Like we have like weddings sometimes here. We also have birthday parties and stuff like that. So it's actually great to work with them.
Some Rwandans who live near the Sudanese also testified that they coexist peacefully and that what the Sudanese do is not only beneficial to themselves but also to their neighbors. Here, we are a team of 5 people, and we believe this is a good thing that creates more job opportunities for young people. Working with Sudanese people is great because we get the chance to gain work experience while also learning their new language. Professor Mamun Homeida, founder of UMST, explained that Rwanda is a good country to invest in, noting that in the time the university has been in Rwanda, it has already enrolled more than 700 students, including Rwandans.
Well, that's exemplary. I worked in other African countries, and we may have campuses in other African countries, but Rwanda has been unique because at the top of Rwanda is a president who has vision for Rwanda. He's open-minded, he knows the world, how things can happen. He respects education, he respects medical care. So we had the most wonderful and exemplary reception from the government and the president. We are very pleased to have this campus of UMST in Rwanda, Kigali. It's a full-fledged university.
It has been over 2 years since these Sudanese arrived in Rwanda, and in conversation, many of them say they have chosen to remain in Rwanda even after finishing their studies because they have found it to be an exceptional country. They also say they greatly appreciate Rwandan culture, which has encouraged them to participate in different national programs such as Umuganda, the community work, and others. Enra Gladys, RwandaTV News.
Moving over to the health sector, some medical practitioners say the new law governing the medical profession will help them provide services that were previously difficult to deliver. Directors of health facilities have told RBA that there were cases where patients arrived in critical condition but refused services that doctors believed could save their lives. For instance, some rejected blood transfusions or other services. The law governing medical services passed by members of parliament earlier last month states that when a person's illness threatens their life or endangers public interests, medical facilities should, in line with medical ethics, provide treatment even without the patient's consent or that of their representative. The law specifies that the incident should then be recorded in the patient's file and in the medical facility's records. Doctors say that once this law begins to be implemented, it will be another step forward in providing the quality of medical services. Previously, when patients or their caretakers refused critical medical services, health facilities were forced to seek the involvement of the patient's family, friends or relatives, and sometimes even had to request the support of local authorities and security organs to resolve the matter. On Tuesday, elections for the Children's Forum at the district, provincial and city of Kigali levels were concluded across the country. The National Child Development Agency has also revealed that during the Christmas and New Year holidays, representatives at the national level will be elected. The elections featured candidates representing their manifestos for each position. In the Western Province, children who participated said they would focus on fighting genocide ideology among both the young and the old. Those elected also pledged to advocate for the rights of street children and to promote innovation among the youth. Dorcas Giramata was elected to lead the Children's Forum in the Western Province. In the city of Kigali, Kelia Isimbi from Kicukiro district was elected to represent her peers. She said she has always been passionate about leadership as she already represents her classmates at school and is ready to advocate for promoting children's talents. Kevin Ishimne was elected as the children's advisor for the city of Kigali. Elsewhere, representatives were elected in the other provinces. In the southern province, Keza Jgwidimana Jennifer; in the eastern province, Humura Urahirwa Kolono; and in the northern province, Sylvie Umumararungu. Assumpta Ingabire, the Director General of the National Child Development Agency, has reminded that the primary goal of the Children's Forum is to give children a voice, noting that children make up 44.5% of Rwanda's population.
Every journey has a beginning. From nature comes refreshing fruity goodness that keeps you going every day. With every pack complementing life's best moments. Not one, not two, but 5 different fruity flavors. And this journey keeps giving. Introducing Inyanji's new fruity juice flavors, guava and cocktail. Now available at your nearest shop. Always ask for Inyanji.
Nyiri muto arababwiraga data bati ntabwo agira umukamo mwinshi utunze inka imwe, ariko nigeze acika intege. Mama akinjira mu bucuruzi hari abamubwiraga bati ntabwo watera imbere udakorera mu iduka rigezweho, ariko ntibyamusubije inyuma, yakoranaga umwete. Njya muri kaminuza hari abanshidikanyagaho bavuga ko nashobora kaminuza naturuka mu muryango wifashije, ariko byaragiye nangiza amateka mashya. Igihe cyo gutera ishema umuryango wanjye kigeze, bamwe bakomeje kumbwira bati ntabwo watera umuryango wawe ibyishimo n'ishema, ariko narabishoboye. Hari abakekaga ko nasigira umurage ukomeye abankomokaho, ariko ubu mfite uruganda rutunganya amata. Banki ya Kigali yabaye umufatanyabikorwa wanjye mu rugendo rwose, inzozi zanjye ziba impamo. Bigereho.
Get ready for one of the biggest celebrations of the year. It's the 20th edition of Rwanda's iconic Kwitizina Gorilla Naming Ceremony, happening on Friday, September 5th, 2025, at the breathtaking foothills of Volcanoes National Park. Join thousands of guests, local communities, and international visitors as we honor Rwanda's newest mountain gorilla babies and celebrate 2 decades of conservation success. Celebrate the vibrant spirit of Rwanda. Join us for an unforgettable festival showcasing the best of Rwandan culture with traditional dances, live performances, and much more. Experience the heart and soul of Rwanda like never before. Come witness this global event where celebrities and conservation champions unite to name Rwanda's beloved gorillas. It's an experience like no other, a true celebration of conservation and culture. Mark your calendars and get ready for a week of exciting events. Be part of the story. Be part of the future of conservation. For more details, visit www.kwitizina.rw and be part of Rwanda's conservation legacy. Kwitizina 2025, where tradition meets celebration. Don't miss it.
And we're we're back with stories making headlines on the international scene. Over to Sudan, a massive recovery effort continues after a landslide buried an entire village in Sudan's western region of Darfur on Sunday. Rebel forces estimate 1,000 people died in Tarazin in the remote Mara Mountains. Only one survivor has been reported. Tribal leaders from nearby areas have mobilized efforts to recover and bury the victims. The Sudan Liberation Movement says it has appealed to the United Nations and international aid groups for urgent help. Weeks of heavy rain triggered the landslide. DW News with the details.
Is beyond dire because of the recent painful incident of the landslide that took place on August 31st, but it was only announced on Monday. It was announced by Sudan's Liberation Movement, Abdel Wahid Mohamed Noor division, and the leadership of Abdel Wahid Mohamed Noor, and also the Sudanese Sovereign Council and the Federal government of RSF said they are vowing to provide help for people who are in need. The situation in Darfur generally is beyond dire because of the conflict. RSF are controlling 4 states out of 5 states in Darfur and 6 localities out of 8 localities in Jabal Marra. Rescue workers are still looking for dead bodies, and people are helping to bury people who were killed by these recent landslides from villages around, and there is a risk of a recurrence of such painful incidents, if certain security measures are not taken by international organizations and be facilitated by the Sudanese government and rebel groups in the area. The situation is beyond dire, and there is no communication with people on ground because it's a remote area and has been under control of rebel groups for decades. But all of the statements by the SLM,
If you could, let me ask you, the rebel group, the Sudanese Liberation Movement, or the SLM, that controls the area, it has called for international help in dealing with this disaster. I mean, what do we know about the SLM? Is this a group that will let aid in if aid arrives?
Actually, Sudan's Liberation Movement is a rebel group under the control of leadership of the comrade Abdel Wahid Mohamed Noor. It has been battling the Sudanese central government for decades, and now the area is controlled even by RSF, the new battle militia that was battling most of Darfur components for decades. So yes, if there is aid by international community and organizations, SLM and RSF and also the Sudanese government vowed to facilitate aid, but there is no guarantees that this aid can be reached, because we saw during the Sudanese civil war that aid workers and aid organizations were targeted by the conflict, were looted and attacked by RSF in different Darfur states. So most of aid workers and United Nations agencies need guarantees by RSF and rebel groups so they can help those in need.
We know that the rainy season is just starting in Sudan. Are we expecting the situation to get worse? Could we see more disasters like this?
Yes, the rainy season indeed started in Sudan for a few weeks. It's one of the worst rainy seasons ever. River Nile State, Northern State, eastern parts of the country, even Khartoum State, where I'm relocated right now, are witnessing heavy rains, torrential rains, and floodings. Tens of people were killed in River Nile and Northern State by the recent rainy season. In Darfur particular, the geological formation of Jabal Marra and Marra Mountains are volcanic rocks, which is very vulnerable to landslides. So we are expecting more catastrophic unless security procedures were taken urgently.
And in Afghanistan, another earthquake, the second within a week, has hit the country as the nation was already reeling from a devastating quake over the weekend. That quake killed at least 1,400 people and injured thousands. Tuesday's magnitude 5.2 tremor hit near Jalalabad, which was also the epicenter of Sunday's quake. Rescuers are struggling to reach the remote mountainous area. Entire villages have been destroyed, and it's feared the death toll could rise further, with many people feared trapped under the rubble. DW once more.
So I've been traveling throughout Ningarhar and Kunar provinces. I went to some of the most affected areas in Kunar province that were accessible by road. We had to go over mountains, dirt roads, and through riverbeds to be able to get to these communities. And what we saw there was a devastating sight. Homes completely destroyed, entire villages just crumbled to the ground in moments, and a community that is terrified of the aftershocks. While we were there, we experienced multiple aftershocks. Every 15, 20, 30 minutes, there would be a shaking of the ground. And you could see the fear in the faces of the people that we were talking to. And this most recent aftershock, this newest earthquake that has occurred, we were on the road, and we've heard that it was felt as far away as Kabul and beyond. So we are concerned. Our teams on the ground have said that there hasn't been any more new damage as a result of this earthquake, but we are scared for what's to come with these multiple aftershocks that we've been seeing.
The UN Afghanistan coordinator said earlier today that damaged roads are the biggest challenge following these quakes. I mean, obviously, you've experienced that from what you're telling. How is it possible for aid groups or even emergency personnel to get to these areas, particularly in this mountainous region of Afghanistan?
It's incredibly difficult. The areas which we are able to access are now, the roads are being cleared by hundreds, thousands of volunteers that are coming from all over the country, essentially cleaning the roads by hand. And there are still some communities beyond that were incredibly remote and inaccessible prior to this earthquake taking place. They are extremely hard to reach areas. And we, many in those communities who have been airlifted out to Jalalabad city here for urgent medical care. But there are also, we heard of many communities where helicopters have come and circulated, but they could not land, just given the nature of the terrain. It is incredibly mountainous. You have houses that have been built into the mountainside, and they're one on top of another. So when one collapses, they all collapse on themselves. And that's, our biggest fear right now is that there are so many villages that cannot be accessed. And as time is running out, we are expecting the numbers to rise.
And Samir, when we look at the video that's coming to us from Afghanistan, we see lots of men, and we were wondering, where are the women? And if the women have been injured in this quake, are they getting the same emergency care as the men? Because we know the Taliban is in power.
Certainly, right now it's about getting to who is impacted the most. When people are digging out bodies and victims from under the rubble, it's about getting to those that you can get to. And we have our clinics in multiple areas of the affected communities. We're treating women. In fact, the highest number of victims are women and children. These are communities where you have very large family sizes. Each family has, 8, 9 children. So the most impacted are, in fact, women and children. And the biggest percentage of those who have actually died in this earthquake are women and children, and in terms of injuries as well. Many have been airlifted. Those with the most severe injuries have been airlifted again to here, to Jalalabad city, and those with, minor or lesser injuries have been treated in the areas where aid groups like us have been able to get access to.
And that DW story marks the end of our bulletin. Before we close off for the night, let's have a recap of our headlines. The Ministry of Justice has revealed that from 2013 up to 2025, it has recovered more than 15.4 billion Rwandan francs of public funds that had been embezzled and misused for personal gain. Communities living around volcanoes national parks say they have greatly benefited from tourism activities and have also come to better understand their role in conserving the park's rich biodiversity. On the international scale, a massive recovery effort continues after a landslide buried an entire village in Sudan's western region of Darfur on Sunday. And on behalf of the news production team as well as the technical team, thank you for sticking with us on RTV News. My name is Martina Avera, and until next time, stay safe and have a good night.